On Jim Crow highways, your lifeline wasn't a sheriff or a law. It was something as simple as a gas station. Esso gas stations used their brand power, a coast-to-coast map service, a Black executive, and corporate backing of the Negro Motorist Green Book to help Black travelers safely outsmart Jim Crow. So join us today while we discuss how Esso gas stations help supercharge the Negro Motorist Green Book. I'm your host, Country Boy. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. But without further ado, let's get started. America sold the car as freedom, but Jim Crow turned the road into a test. White-only hotels, cafes that went closed when you walk in, restroom keys that were withheld with a smirk, prices that rose with a glance, police that turned a taillight into a trap, and across the map, sundown towns where the setting sun came with a perilous warning. Yet, if you were Black, you still had to drive. You had to go to work, you had family, you had church, summer trips with the kids, and all of this freedom required you to have a plan. So this is where the Green Book comes in. It's designed by Victor H. Green, a Harlem postal carrier who built a plan in 1936. He used a trusted network of postal workers, salesmen, musicians to stitch together portable workaround, the Negro Motorist Green Book. It had listings for tourist homes, Black-owned hotels, barbershops, cafes, garages, and later motels and service stations. It didn't eliminate risk, but it built in redundancy. If one door was shut, a town next to it had a backup. You could circle safe places and keep dignity within your itinerary. The Green Book worked because it matched a specific problem with a specific tool. Jim Crow was thousands of local laws and rules enforced with signs and stares and sometimes a badge. Green answered this by asking people who knew where every street was where Black people could go. The book scaled local knowledge nationally, and its design built in backups. It kept adding routes, first in New York, then in the Southeast, and then state by state across the South and the Midwest, and eventually into Canada and the Caribbean. By World War II, as car ownership surged, highways linked cities before interstates, the need only grew. If you had ever tried to travel on just tips alone, you know the difference between a hunch and a listing compiled by people that you trust. But this is the part that many people miss. Esso, Standard Oil of New Jersey, did more than sell gas. Many Esso stations stocked the Green Book behind their counter. Esso bought ads in the guide, and its touring service already mailed out free road maps. It helped the book reach far beyond Harlem. Some Esso dealers and crucially, some service stations were owned and operated by Black entrepreneurs, and this became a reliable link for Black families who could fuel, use a clean restroom, and ask, where can I stay the night? And this isn't just a rumor. It's written into the Green Book itself. You can open up the 1949 Green Book and you'll see Esso advertisement framed by listings for hotels, tourist homes, and cafes. In the 1949 edition, James A. Jackson, a Black executive at Standard Oil of New Jersey, endorsed the guide and offers free distribution help. Jackson worked with Victor Green, encouraging dealers to carry the book and treating Black travelers like a market worth serving. Motors mixed business sense with a measure of principle. The effect on the ground was clear: more predictable service, fewer humiliation, and crucially, safer miles. Picture that you're a family rolling down US 1 in early 1950. The daylight is thinning, the county line with a sundown reputation is ahead. In the glove box, a folded Esso map along with the Green Book. You spot the oval and pull in, sometimes a Black franchisee, sometimes a white worker who understands the stakes, tops off your tank, and hands over the restroom key without a lecture. He points to a name in a book, a tourist home 2 towns over, and says, "Tell them I sent you." That 5-minute stop shifts the trip from endurance to belonging. And this is how you build a loyal brand with your Black customers. Yet, let's be clear, not every Esso dealer lived up to this standard. Many of them discriminated. Many rival stations were much worse and denied restrooms, refused service, jacked up their prices, and families knew it. So they layered their plan. They packed lunches. They relied on tourist homes. They called ahead. They opened the book, and you'll find entries that read like instructions, stating the tourist home, the city, call ahead. The Green Book wasn't a magic pass. It was a map of options when the road turned very hostile. All of this begs a huge question. Why did Esso help at all? Well, it was part strategy and part people. Strategy was a growing black middle class that had cars and cash and long memories. And a gas company doesn't live on one fill up. It thrives when people pick the same brand from Harlem to Norfolk because you know what to expect. People like James A. Jackson argued inside the company that respect was a right and was profitable. And he built relationships with black newspapers, civic groups, and Victor Green, and encouraged dealers to carry the Green Book. Wasn't charity, it was good business. And it also saved many black people from harm. And still, all of this was built on a contradiction. Esso's infrastructure served a landscape built on segregation. It was supported both by principle and by profit, and the impact was very real. By the 1940s and into the 1950s, the Green Book plus Esso gas stations functioned like a parallel system. Fuel here, meal there, bed up the road, a mechanic who wouldn't strand you, and information that became an infrastructure that you could fold and put inside your glove box. When the legal ground shifted with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and it outlawed discrimination in hotels, restaurants, and gas stations, interstates sped up travel and bypassed many black business corridors that the Green Book helped sustain. The Green Book would publish its last edition in 1966-1967. Esso's brand would then change to Exxon in 1972 and then rolled out in 1973. So why does any of this matter? Small, practical systems built from communal knowledge and strengthened by unexpected allies can pry open closed doors in a landscape. Esso gas stations and the Green Book did not end Jim Crow, but it helped turn communal knowledge into safe miles. Thank you. I'm your host, Country Boy, and this was Esso gas stations and the Negro Motorist Green Book. If you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at onemichistory.com. I like to thank all my financial contributors. Without you, none of this could be possible. I love you all. If your family used the Green Book or if you remember Esso gas stations, please, I would love for you to share your story in the comments. Peace.